Hi everyone, Dead Battery here, and thank you for joining me on my channel. Today's video is going to be on an HP laptop. It had a 17.3 screen. It came with an i7 as well as 16 gigabytes of RAM and a terabyte hard drive. Now originally this laptop was brought to me by a friend who wanted to repair it themselves. I had already taken it apart to show them how to do it. And we got the numbers for the screen. And then afterwards, my friend decided that it was just going to be too much for them to do. They were also getting ready to move. So they just donated it to me. Now I thought it'd be a really good idea to possibly fix this one up since it is a newer model, and use it for this kind of stuff like video editing and recording, because the original one that I'm using right now was a trash find. It was an Alienware and it works great, except the program that I use for some of my editing, DaVinci Resolve, it's a great program. Unfortunately, my graphics card in the laptop does not do very well with it, and I'm having a lot of issues with frame rate. So I decided to fix the screen for all my viewers because this is a fix you can do yourself, but I did run into some difficulties, so I wanted you all to see. It's an expensive laptop, so why get rid of it because it has a broken screen when fixing it could possibly be worth it? Let's have a look at this laptop and let's take it back apart. So here's the laptop. It's in really good condition, but here's the screen. There's a crack going from one side to the other, as well as one right here. To get this open, there are 8 screws on the back. These top 4 are longer than the bottom 4, and they're all the star shaped. In my iFixit tools, I think it's one of the J's. There are 3 more screws, but they're underneath one of these rubber pieces. This took us a while because when I was showing them how to take it apart, we couldn't figure out why it wasn't. So what you need to do is peel out this rubber piece and then break through the plastic, and there are 3 more Phillips head screws underneath here. And then just get a pry tool in the middle, run it along the edges, and it'll start to pop up and you'll hear it start to release. And once you get the front and a little bit of the side, the rest of it should all come off. I am showing you 2 screws because I forgot to put those in when I was putting it back together. Remember to disconnect your battery. And then here's the RAM I may upgrade, as well as the hard drive. I haven't quite decided yet. To work on just the screen, you have to first take the brackets off. This first bracket has 2 screws. And then this one has 3 screws, and they're little silver ones. There are 7 screws on the one side, and they are black ones, so you won't get those mixed up with the bracket ones that are silver. And then the other side has 6. Then you need to disconnect these 2 cables here, as well as there are 2 ribbons on this side that are for the screen. And then now you can just lift away the rest of the laptop. To get the screen apart, it's the same thing as getting the bottom off. Just get your pry tool in there. You'll start to hear it make snappy sounds, and just go around the edge. And then once it's off, you can lift that up and out of the back panel. So the awesome thing about this laptop screen is, if you see here, there is 2 parts to this. So there's 4 screws holding the screen down, and it wasn't the screen that was actually broken, it was the digitizer. So after you remove those screws and remove the screen, all I had to do was buy the digitizer. The problem was the only one I could find for this one did not come with this plastic bracket that went around the original one. I'm not too sure why, but just be aware of that if you are buying replacement screens. It also doesn't come with the motherboard or any of the cables, so make sure that you disconnect the ribbons and take this little motherboard out. I feel like my confidence has really built over this last year of what I can and cannot fix. And this laptop was a good challenge because I really felt like this was something I could do. It's just a bracket. However, this one really challenged me. So forewarning, if you have to do this, I don't know what skill level I would even put this at. But I'm gonna try these suction cups to see if I can lift it off and use my hot air rework station. I feel like I need to do like the zoom down picture in frame, but if you're going to attempt this, don't get frustrated. I definitely got a little frustrated with it only because I didn't know if I was going to break that plastic bracket, and if I did, I wasn't too sure how I was going to replace it. I also didn't know what was holding it all together, so I just kept going, and I felt like the more I went, the more little rubbery side pieces got destroyed or the plastic got flimsy. I broke a lot of glass. I would definitely have tape on you so you can pick up all the little pieces, but this was difficult. However, I didn't want to not do it so I could show you. But just so you guys know, this right here, it was a big struggle for me, but I'm glad that I continued with it and finished it. I was coming at this with confidence. It was a screen replacement and it was just a plastic bracket. I was sorely mistaken. So eventually, I do get this whole entire bracket off, but I have damaged some of the rubber that goes around the screen, but I'm not too worried about that right now. However, now I need to figure out how to get all this other stuff off of it because I'm not going to be able to stick it to the new one. I'm also not going to be able to stick it in general because I don't even know what I can use to hold it back together. So I am going around with just a plastic razor blade and kind of scraping the stuff off. And I'm also using my isopropyl alcohol, which is 99.9%, and it is lifting off. So now I'm wondering in my head if the only thing I needed to do was use alcohol, which didn't occur to me. So if you know a better way to get this bracket off, please let me know in the comments. I think it'll be good for me if I ever do this again, and it'll also help anybody else that could be struggling. I did come back to this the next day because I had to go to the local hardware store here. It's called Makeaman, and it has a little monkey mascot. It's awesome. I love it. I was able to talk to a lady that works there, and she got me this stuff, and it is a glue that's made for plastics. I couldn't find what I was looking for. I don't know, something like a rubber sealant or something that wouldn't dry instantly. And unfortunately, this dried quicker than I wanted it to. So I attempted to use the spatula that came with it. That didn't work. So I just started using a Q-tip and I'm just smearing it down, sticking parts down, and then getting back underneath of it and kind of putting more of the glue down. And then I did put some weight down on it to hopefully keep it together. I'm not too sure how long this is gonna take to dry. It did say up to 24 hours, but I'm gonna put it together. Just make sure you put the motherboard back into place and all of the cables that are attached. And putting it back together is just everything back in reverse. You do have to kind of slide it down into the back panel because you need to make sure the cords are in the correct area. And it just snaps all down. Now to get it back onto the motherboard, I kind of just lined everything up and then laid it back down. And then I am just putting all the screws back into place. And before I put the back on, I am going to test it to make sure that it works. And I'm pretty hopeful that it will work since it wasn't the screen that was broken. It was just the front glass panel. Back panel back on. Remember, the back top screws are longer than the bottom four. So in the end, I got this laptop back together. It looks a little rough around the screen edges, but it's all aesthetic. It's all working. It all looks good. It's a lovely laptop. The problem is, originally when we were taking it apart, it said something about upgrading to Windows 11. And it was like, wait for the prompt. So I was excited because the one I'm using right now is Windows 10, which I thought I read something somewhere, and you guys can let me know in the comments, but a lot of stuff isn't going to be supported anymore. And if that's the case, I don't know how long I can use this computer. So I was like, I'm going to use this new HP Envy as my editing and recording laptop. After I got everything sorted on it and did some more research on how it can be upgraded to Windows 11, it gave me that little notification to let me know that the CPU, I believe, cannot handle it, so it can't be upgraded. So now I'm stuck with two Windows 10s. Now this one might have a better graphics card and I may be able to use DaVinci Resolve better than I am now, but I don't feel like switching everything over. So at the moment, once again, I have something that I don't have a use for, so I'm probably just going to end up donating it to somebody that can use it. But if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I will tell you right now, this was a very difficult project, and I'm glad I did it so that I could show you. But just know, if you have to do something like this and it asks about the bracket, take your time and breathe. I got really frustrated for sure. And honestly, the only reason I made it through was because of all of you. Because I have confidence in myself, but you guys give me 100 times more confidence because I'm excited to show you what I've accomplished. Let me know if this is something you've done before and how you removed the bracket. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!